Good evening, everyone. Welcome again to Continuing Education. I am Diana Hinkle, and I'm your host for this evening. And so this is a continuing education that I would like to give to those of you that want to learn more about essential oils, what they do for you, how they work for you, and whether you're here live or whether you're listening to the recording. Thank you so much for that. And so tonight we're going to talk about Cypress. And Cypress was the free essential oil that you can get from doTERRA this month when you placed a 125 point value or PV order by on or before the 15th of the month. So maybe you don't know why you'd even consider using Cypress or what's it good for. So let's look at that and see if maybe Cypress might be something for you to take a look at, and maybe you'll want to use Cypress for any of your protocols or your regimens, anything you've got going on. So first off, Cypress is it is a tall tree. We have a lot of cypress trees, even here in Washington State. But cypress itself is native to Southern Europe and in some of the Asian countries. And doTERRA wants to make sure that we get the best quality of any essential oil, and cypress is no different. They are always making sure that it meets their CPTG, which is certified pure tested grade, which means that doTERRA's products are the most tested and therefore most used because of the testing and the safety and their diligent need for making sure that it is 100% meets their standard. For me, that's important because I have animals and I use a lot of essential oils on my animals, but I want to make sure that whatever I use is safe, not only for them, but safe enough to be around them, especially when it comes to cats, because cats are finicky and a lot of people are afraid to use essential oils around their cats. Other animals too, but mostly cats, because it's like, oh no, what if it happens if they smell something they shouldn't have? And any time that you use an essential oil, if you're diffusing an essential oil, as long as I can get away from, like, out of that room, then you're pretty much safe, as long as they can get away from that particular smell. If they don't like it, if they love it and they really want it, they will be right underneath it. No questions asked. They will show you. And that's what I love about the animals, is they actually will show you. Humans, on the other hand, a little bit tougher, because you can go up to approach someone and they're not feeling well, and you ask them, how are you doing? Oh, I'm fine. Why do we do that? I don't understand why we as a culture will just say, no, I'm fine. We're not fine. If we're sick, we're sick. So why do we tell everybody we're fine? Instead of saying, well, I'm sick, or I can't breathe, or I have this cough, or whatever is going on, right? So I don't know why we do this. So let's talk a little bit about cypress more. It is actually steam distilled from the leaves of the cypress. I tend to not get into the science part of things, because most people don't really care about science. There are a few of you out there that's all you want, and trust me, you can get a lot of science out there. But I want to try to keep this as simple as possible. So cypress, and it's spelled Cypress, so cypress, okay? Now, Cypress, can you use it internally? Well, there's one way to find out whether you can or can't. So on any doTERRA bottle, you're always going to look for a supplement fact. If there is no supplement fact, it's not intended to use for internal consumption. Okay, keep that in mind. Now, if it is okay for you to take internally, then they're going to have a supplement fact on the bottle. So that's how you know whether or not you can use it internally or not. When in doubt, diffuse or put it on you topically. It still does a lot of the same thing. Okay, so what are all the things that Cypress can do for us besides help us with energy? And before we get into a lot of physical, I want to read you the emotional side of Cypress. And I think this will help you see more of what they can do for you, because a lot of us think about, well, I have an ache and pain, or I have discomfort wherever, and we think about the physical side effect or it's a physical problem that we've got going on. But what about emotional? Emotions and stress tie into a lot of medical issues. That's usually a lot of core, or to the root, is stress. And the more stress we have, the worse it will be. And it will show itself over time, not right away. Some things do, but a lot of your major illness will be over time. So what does Cypress do for us emotionally? It is the oil of motion and flow. And Cypress is helping us to take away the worries, take away the stress, and help individuals who are stuck, we're rigid, we're tense, over striving, or we have that tendency of being the perfectionist. Is that you? I know there's a lot of people that just don't have control of any of that. And then, so we try to force things to happen in life rather than allowing it to just happen. And so when we look at the negative side of Cypress, it's for those that are controlling, fearful, perfectionist, we're very rigid, we're stuck, or we're tense. So what we're trying to do with Cypress to help us that on that emotion side, by just smelling it, we don't have to put it on us, just smell it, help us be more flexible and helps us be more trusting. And then helping us to adapt to life and helping life not be so, not us lose so much of the, let go of the control. Let it happen the way it's going to happen. And so when we do that on an emotional side, then we help our bodies relax. We can help our body reduce inflammation from stress, and we can get back into a more positive state and be that flexible and let life be the way it's going to be, because we really don't have the control we would like to have on it. We can just guide ourselves through. So that is how Cypress helps us emotionally. You can put 2 to 3 drops in a diffuser and diffuse it that way. It's a great oil to add in with wintergreen or cilantro, thyme, the Aroma Touch blend. In fact, it actually is in the Aroma Touch blend, and we're going to get to why that's in there. And then an oil that we don't always get, which is hinoki. You can put a few drops in your hand, just put a couple of drops in your hand, rub it around, and smell it very deeply. And you want to do that several times. let your body, let your mind relax. Okay. Um, you can also put 1 to 2 drops or 1 to 3 drops on the bottom of your feet, and it will help us in the same way, whether we're diffusing or putting it on our feet. So what else does Cypress help us with? It can help us with restless leg, poor circulation. I said that the Aroma Touch blend has Cypress in it. Well, the reason that is because the Aroma Touch blend was actually created for circulation. Namely, things like neuropathy, for instance, is to massage into the leg. So by using Cypress itself is very good to help in creating the circulation needed in specific areas. And you want to make sure that you are massaging it into that area. Use a carrier oil like fractionated coconut oil, any of those, and then massage it into those areas that have that discomfort going on. Maybe you have the tingling in your feet. Maybe you have something in the calves of your legs. Maybe you overdid it for the day. This is an option that you can do for yourself. It's also good for edema. So if you've got edema where you have the swelling in your legs and you have that, you just can't seem to get rid of it, Cypress could be useful in that way. So again, you're going to massage it in there. One thing that I want to really help you pay attention to, that whenever you're using any kind of essential oil, even if you're just touching the bottle and taking the lid off, there's always residues there. So please don't put your fingers in your eyes. Always make sure that you're washing your hands after handling any of those so that you don't get it in your eye. Now, if you get it in your eye, don't use an eye wash. You simply just want to close your eyes for a while. It's going to tear up. It will dissipate and go away. And it will not make you blind. And there's not enough to do with those kinds of things. It's not going to be nice for a little bit, but it'll go away 10-15 minutes later. So you should be good. You can also use like the fractionated coconut oil or any kind of oil, and just put it over the eye with the eye closed. That will help dissipate that essential oil that you've gotten in your eye. Just remember to wash your hands quite often. You can also apply it to the lymph nodes if you've got something going on in that direction. If you have poor urine, the flow of urine, it also will help in that way too. You can just apply it to the lymph, or maybe just the belly. It's also good for varicose veins. There again, just rub it over the area of concern. It's also good for like respiratory, like whooping cough. Okay, whooping cough is like a cough, that persistent cough. It's good for that too. You can apply it right over your lungs. And if you are sensitive to essential oils, make sure you're using your carrier oil of any kind. We like the fractionated coconut oil because it soaks into the skin very quickly. If you're older, you probably have thin skin. Most people are fine with Cypress by itself, but you might find that you need more of the carrier oil. Always put the carrier oil on first, then add your essential oil. So it's usually like about a drop to 5 drops of carrier oil. So you can do more, you can do less. You have to decide what's best for you. So prostate, pancreas, ovary issues, all those issues, same thing. You can massage the Cypress over those areas of concern. We also have, the reflex points on your foot. And whether it's your prostate, pancreas, ovaries, the liver, the gallbladder, It's a decongestant. It's everything. So yes, you can just smell it as a decongestant, or you just put it on the bottom of your feet, which makes it super easy. And you don't have to remember, just put it on the bottom of your feet. Now, why would we put it on the bottom of our feet? Well, for one, typically there's no sensitivity to any essential oil on your feet. If it's a child, then you definitely want to make sure that you're adding the fractionated coconut oil or the carrier oil, usually about a teaspoon per 1 drop of your essential oil when it comes to your children. When it's us, we can use a little bit less than a teaspoon of fractionated coconut or carrier oil, but that's something that you can kind of, moderate yourself and decide how much you want to use. And so all of these, you want to either rub Cypress over the area or put it on the bottom of your feet. Find a chart that shows you the reflexology, and it'll show you where your gallbladder is, your liver, all of that, so that you can target that area. But if you don't know, just put it on the whole feet. You won't go wrong, guaranteed. What about things like we can use it for we're using it for things inside, endometriosis, heavy periods. If you're fibrous, have those fibroids going on, same thing, massage it in the abdomen. And it can be helpful in that way too. So you're comforting all of those areas and helping that circulation. So it's a very calming oil and it's very energizing. So just like what we heard for the emotional side of Cypress, that it helps you come out of the negativity into a more positive state so that you can let life be the way it's going to be. So it's very energizing, very uplifting. If you like the outdoors, you're going to love smelling Cypress. And Cypress, to me, is like, so when you put it in a blend or in a diffuser, you can put it in with other oils and you can have that, if you're cooped up, especially in the wintertime, if you're cooped up, you can actually have Cypress in your diffuser and just smell the outdoors. And then it's invigorating, it's energizing, it helps open up those airways. And so we are, it's also an antibacterial, so you could always use it for wound care as well. It's an antiseptic as well. So when you're thinking about those kinds of things, it's like most of us wouldn't think about Cypress being something for wound care, but it can be. And you can simply put it on neat, but there again, you may want to use your fractionated coconut oil, carrier oil. And the other thing is too, that when you're starting to use it for that kind of care, you can make a salve. If you've got any kind of solid coconut oil, you can make your own salve and put Cypress in there, put whatever you want. You can add it with lavender, you can add it with frankincense or sandalwood or myrrh. There's so many good essential oils that you can have for a salve because Cypress is good for your skin. So you can have it you can apply it directly on your skin, or you can use the carrier oil and put it on your skin. It's also good for oily hair. You can add a drop to your shampoo and you can wash your hair that way. And your hair won't be as oily. Or maybe you want a dry shampoo and you can add Cypress to that as well. So there's a lot of fun things that we can do with Cypress. It's not just a outdoor smell, and it's one that you might not think about using for certain issues like we just discussed, but it is something that you can look at and see if it's what you like the smell of. If you really love the smell, use it. If you don't like the smell, don't use it sparingly, or put it on the bottom of your feet, or add it with another oil and another essential oil to make it a little bit different, make it more subtle. So everything is always up to you, what you do. And you can also add Cypress to your makeup, your skincare line, anything that you have, you can add a little bit to that. If you have something where you can put it in with your skincare, you can add a few drops and then mix it up. And it's so super, super good for very hydrating to the skin. So that is my Cypress tonight. We're going to keep this very short and simple. I hope that you get some information out of this. We will be back again on the first Tuesday of next month, which is going to be, let me look here. So where are the night? That will be the 2nd of August. So on the 2nd of August. So we are here the 1st and 3rd Tuesday of every month at 7 p.m. Pacific time. I hope that you will join me and find out some more things that you can use your essential oils for. You guys have a lovely evening, and thanks for joining me.